We're going to jump into some more of these productivity hacks and stuff. So one of the big ones that we'll dive into when we get back into the demo is going to be Office 365 groups. Office 365 groups are really powerful and they're kind of behind the scenes. So we're going to talk a lot today about what they are. And an Office 365 group is not only a distribution group or an email list, but it also can have a calendar tied to it, files, an entire SharePoint site, a plan, which we'll get into, a OneNote notebook, and a Microsoft Teams team. So really powerful tool, and we're going to showcase that as one of our first productivity hacks here today. So jumping back into our demo. All right, and so I'm going to showcase a little bit about Office 365 groups today. We're going to create a group. We're going to walk through what that looks like, what it all gives us access to, the different items I just mentioned, and how we can use those to collaborate and be more productive. So from your browser, you can also do this from Outlook, but I'm going to do it from the browser side. It will look very similar to your Outlook. If you want to do it from here, you'll see your groups listed in Outlook as well, but the browser side is just a little quicker, so I'm going to use that today. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Outlook. Outlook tends to be the easiest way to create one of these Office 365 groups. Don't ask me why, I'm not sure why that's the place where they put it, but you'll see here down on the left-hand side on our left-hand menu, you'll see all the different groups that you're a part of in your Outlook tenant. And if we right click on groups, we're going to have the opportunity to create a new group. So I'm going to go ahead and do so. Let's say we want to name this group the Milwaukee group. So I'm going to call it just simply Milwaukee. It's going to tie an email address to this group. You can add a specific description if you want. So we'll say this is the Milwaukee Regional Office. And then you can set this group up to be private or public. So if you want everyone to be able to see it at your company, you can choose public. Specifically, I want this to be just the folks in Milwaukee, so we'll say it's private. And then you can choose whether members will receive notifications in their inboxes. It's really up to you if you want to have that setting turned on or not. And then, of course, the language. So we're going to go ahead and create this group. And then it's going to allow us to add a few members. So I'm going to add the folks in our Milwaukee office here real quick, just a couple of different people. And then you can click add. You don't have to do this right away. If maybe you're creating this group for just yourself off the bat and you want to add folks later, you can skip this step. But we'll go ahead and add those people to this group. And you're going to see right away this is going to create a group in our Outlook environment. And you're going to see some, very basic details here. You're going to see the email thread or the conversation thread here. So right away, it added a new email into the group. And then so the easiest way to edit settings for an individual group are going to be this ellipses in your Outlook environment. So we can go ahead and click that and click settings. And this is going to be where you can go ahead and edit the group. So from there, you can add a picture. If you have a picture to add, you can change the name and the description. You can adjust it from private to public. You can choose to let people outside the organization see or email this group. So maybe you want to have it as a distribution list for sales orders as well. You can do that. And then you can turn on and off the feature to send emails to everyone's inbox when there's changes made or notifications or updates to a group. So like I said, Office 365 groups are really powerful. There's all kinds of different ways that you can interact with them and use them. So first up, since we're in Outlook already, is going to be the email piece. So if you want to send an email to this group, you can do so. And this is going to send an email to all of the members of the group. And it's also going to send email to the group itself. So when we hit send here, you're going to see that email show up in this thread. So you can view emails to the group from in here. And then everyone that's in the group should also get an email. And I don't think I will because I just sent it, but we'll also get an email in their inbox that they got that message. So that's the email portion, really simple, easy. All of a sudden you've created a group and you've already got a distribution list to send emails. You can also store files as part of this Office 365 group. So if we click the go to group files here, it's going to load those document files, and you're going to see these same files across the board in a lot of places. So just to give you an example, let's upload a file here. So if I've got something on my computer or maybe in my OneDrive folder that I want to be part of this group, I can go ahead and just move it into this group. And normally you would create new documents and stuff in here, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to steal a document from a different place so I can kind of showcase where this goes. So you can add files right in here. You can switch back to that email view if you want, and back to the files view as well. The next piece you can do with an Office 365 group is you can create or you can edit a calendar. So this is going to be a separate calendar. You'll see it in our groups window here. So it's a little different than just adding items to your calendar. But the value add here is that with this groups calendar, you can maybe add a stand-up meeting and have the group be the organizer. So now if someone maybe transitions to a different role or leaves the company, you don't have to rely on an individual's calendar for modifying and accessing and organizing already existing events. So this is a really great tool for maybe you have stand-up meetings or weekly meetings for your Milwaukee office, and you can generate them on the Milwaukee calendar, and then you can add the different people that are a part of it. So you'll see here, if we add a new event, you can choose to put it on the Milwaukee calendar. We'll call it weekly stand-up, and then you can invite the folks that are part of it if you want it to show up on their individual calendars. So we can add those people here that we added to the group. And then, you could go through and you could make this recurring every week on Wednesdays and send that. And now it's going to be a part of that group calendar, and it's also going to be a part of those individuals' calendars when they go in and see their calendar. So the next part of an Office 365 group is the notebook. So if we click that ellipses here, we can open up the notebook for this group. Notebooks are built into Microsoft OneNote. And you'll see here as we open this, the notebook's empty because I just created this group. But we can create a new section, maybe for weekly meeting minutes. And we'll say OK, and we'll just kind of create a notes page in here. And you could add the date. And you can format these, any way you like. So you can add bullet points, etc., to start creating notes in a OneNote space that everyone on that team is going to have access. So now that we've generated this notebook and started adding sections, if I go onto my OneNote on my computer, and this is going to take a second, but once it signs in here, you'll see that we can open up additional notebooks. And so we're going to be able to open up this same notebook with these weekly minutes right on our own computer. So if you click on your notebook across the top here, we can say we want to open up more notebooks, and right away, since I'm a member of that Milwaukee group, I'm going to see that Milwaukee notebook, and I'm going to be able to open it up. And as it opens up here, we'll see that we have that same weekly meeting minutes section, that same notes tab, and the ongoing meetings that I generated in the browser. So this is really slick for accessing your notes from your computer through OneNote or from the web browser, or we'll show in a minute, you can even open this up in your Teams environment. So moving to the next piece of groups, there is the Planner feature, and we did a whole webinar on Planner a few weeks ago. So if you're curious about more on Planner, you can check that out, and we really dive into the ins and outs of project management using Planner and manipulating the tasks and everything. But just to show you how this works, in Planner now we have a plan for that Milwaukee team. So I can add a new task to remind me to schedule the weekly meeting. Maybe I wanted that done by today, and I'm going to assign myself real quick just to get this task generated. And now you're going to be able to view that Planner task when we go into the Teams environment later. So last but not least is the SharePoint Site piece of this Office 365 group. And if we open up our site here, you're going to see this is your SharePoint site now. If you want to use this as kind of an intranet space, you can do so, and you can manipulate what this page looks like and add other pages and stuff. But more importantly, from SharePoint, you can view all those other pieces of your Office 365 group. So we're going to see our conversations here, which would take us back into the Outlook environment, and you can view those emails that you've had. Oops. We can view the documents that are a part of this SharePoint site or group. So you can see that document that I uploaded earlier is available on the SharePoint side. You can view the notebook right from SharePoint, and so on. You can view the different pages. The really important part on the SharePoint side is this is where you can go to now generate a Microsoft Teams team that's also going to be part of your Office 365 group. So you can see down here in the bottom right, we want to create a team. So this is the one manual step if you create your Office 365 group from the Outlook side. But I found that this to be the easiest way to manipulate and edit the settings for your team. So now that we've got a Microsoft team, we can click here to go to that, and we're going to allow this to open up our actual Microsoft Teams app. So we're going to get out of the browser here. But you can see now it's added that Milwaukee team into our Microsoft Teams environment. And if we go into the files here, and we, if we were to add a file to our general channel, so we'll upload a file quick just to give you an example. You would see those files when we sync that entire environment down onto our computer like we did before. So and then within the team, now you can add those other pieces. So now that we've got a Microsoft team set up, and we've got all those files, and if we went into SharePoint, we could sync this entire team back down to our computer and view the files in File Explorer. And then also from within Teams, we can add additional tabs here. So not just files, but we can add a Onenote tab. And once this loads here, we'll be able to select that notebook for the group and add that entire OneNote right into our Microsoft Teams. So now I can access those meeting notes right from within Teams, maybe while we're actually having a meeting. And then additionally, you can add a tab for Planner as well, right? So I could go to Planner and choose that existing Milwaukee team. So I'm going to use an existing plan for that Milwaukee team, and we're going to save that and add that into our tab too. So this is a really great way where you can start to kind of meld everything together in one place to make it really easy and convenient to get to everything all at the same time, all through the same platform in Microsoft Teams.